rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation by the Pastor David McMurray of the First Baptist Church of Blackwood. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, I do pray that you would indeed be here tonight, not only in this meeting, but you would be in our town. Lord, we invite, we invoke your presence, not because we're deserving, but because, in fact, we're dependent. But honestly, God, we need you. We have ideas, we have dreams, we think we know what would be best. The fact of the matter is, we're in over our head. And oftentimes we don't know what to do next. So that's why we're asking you that you would come, that you would give us wisdom. In fact, you promised that if we ask for wisdom, you would give it liberally. So God, I'm asking that you would give all of us, those that have any kind of position, those that interact with others, those that have some measure of responsibility in any application or area, God, that you would give all of us wisdom, that we would be civil when we disagree. We would be compassionate. We would be cooperative. We would do what's best for the whole, not just what's expedient for me. God, help us to love this town. We would do what's best for this whole town. We would do it without malice or revenge or, again, just political or personal expediency. God, give us a compassion for one another. Rises up amongst us, God, true leaders. Leaders like the parents we saw today in Newtown, Connecticut, who aren't revengeful. They are still merciful and compassionate, but they're appealing. God, something's got to change. Give us that kind of compassion, that kind of strong hearts, strong wills, the gentle spirits to work together to make this town and this country a better place to live, a safer place to live, a kinder place to live. God, please, we beg that you would come and give us wisdom and bless us with creative ideas. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Clark. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designate time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Where you use an electronic amplifying recording device, and in order to obtain an audible and clear record, we request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. Recording device to be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Present.
Mr. Schmidt.
Present.
Mr. Seiler.
Here.
Mrs. Strato. Here. Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Bianchini.
Present.
Mayor.
Mayor is at another meeting in the community discussing school security with the Board of Education and the Chief of Police.
Mr. Malka.
Present.
Mr. Lexman.
Here.
Deputy Chief Harkins.
Here.
Mr. Carlemere.
Here.
Mr. Cantwell.
Here.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
We have a presentation that we're going to do with the Blackwood Quanzle. Right now? I'd like to call the manager of the team and the president of Blackwood Quanzle Little League, Ben Zangi, to come up and join us. It is my pleasure, along with Council Vice President Orlando Mercado, and we also send good wishes from our mayors, as I stated out at another community meeting, to honor Blackwood Quanzle Little League Section 4 champions. This is a a great honor. Not only do you represent Blackwood Kiwanis Little League, you also represent Gloucester Township. And we're very, very proud of your team and more importantly of your whole organization for all that you've accomplished over this past season. We hear a lot of great things about the organization. We're there during opening day. Mr. Mercado here is a coach in that organization. I feel bad for you, but that's okay. It's a great organization and a lot of hard work from Ben and his staff and all the volunteers of that organization to put a good product to take care of the young men and women of that organization. And really, that's the bottom line. The bottom line is about the kids. It's not about the coaches. It's not about the parents. It's creating a great atmosphere for the young men and women of that organization. Many hundreds of years ago when I was in Little League, I just remember it was a great time of my life, learning how not only to win, but to learn how to lose and to take it all in stride. And many of the things that I do today when I'm having bad moments, bad days, it's the things I learned on the athletic field. Whether it was football, whether it was wrestling, whether it was baseball, it gets me through some of those hard times. So I know a lot of people think about your kid playing baseball and, you know, this is about, hey, hopefully they'll get a scholarship. Maybe they'll go on to play college. Hey, if we're lucky, maybe we'll have a couple of you playing in the pros. But the bottom line is to make you good men. And that's what it's all about. And that's why we're here, to honor you, because you made the effort, you put in a lot of hard work, you worked with your coaches, and you became a championship team. So with that, we want to congratulate you, and we want to honor you tonight. You want to say anything?
Briefly, but 7 years ago when I was deciding where to put my son in the township, when it came to a baseball organization, I had asked around. And my folks had commented to me that the Blackwood Kiwanis Little League had a new leader in place, and a new organization was taking place, and it was at the time about maybe 400 families. And I had an opportunity to meet Ben and his family and all these fantastic coaches that I have worked with in the past. I see some here like Bobby Mullen, the Cavallero brothers, Eddie Rosa, and I'm missing some other folks, but Nick in the back there, but individuals that have worked with my son and have worked with many of our children here. And I've seen this program evolve over the last 7 years. It's dynamic. I get booed when I go to other opening days of other organizations because they know I'm Blackwood Kiwanis, but that's okay. That's fine. But I've seen some of these young men grown over the many years and how you matured and how you love the game of baseball. And I think that's passed down from our coaches, from the top, to everyone that's involved with it. The best snack stand in the world, Blackwood Kiwanis. They accept debit cards there too. Can you believe that? But a fantastic organization. And we were so proud to follow your ascension through the playoffs. So congratulations to the boys and the coaches.
Ben, would you like to introduce your players, and we'll give them their jackets and certificate.
Absolutely. Jake McDonald. There you go, Jakey. Alex Angie. Dylan Maria. Jared Colbert. Mark Anthony Rodriguez. Mason Collins. Mark Cotton. TJ Cavallero. Josh Rosa. Bobby Mullen. Yes, assistant coach is Ed Rosa. There you go. And Officer Mike McDonald. Yeah, I just wanted to thank Glenn and Orlando and everybody from the township for supporting the league so much. Being down there for 7 years, the league's grown from 140 kids to 750 kids. And without the township support from Public Works and the new construction project going on down there, it's just going to allow us to grow bigger and do better and exciting things for boys and girls. So, thanks, guys.
We're going to have a 5-minute recess. Thank you.
You like them?
Is it fake?
That's good. It's very good. I didn't even know that was someone. Congratulations, Mike. Jake's everywhere. He's a good all-around athlete. Oh,
All the ducks walk on 2 feet.
sorry.
Luca, why did the chicken cross the road? No, because they wanted to go to the big guy's house, not the chicken.
I squeeze in so they get the picture.
Hey, I organized my shit, that's first class. How are you doing? No, they got in my way. Were you able to get them? Oh, Honey, you can. 5 minutes.
Oh, they would all go to the
Are you one of the team members? Playing hockey?
government. That was a way of time. Oh, yeah. Probably mechanics.
Fairly like this, Jack.
That's the maximum allowable negotiated contract. Everybody else all right?
See you, Bob. Take care. Cold, freezing cold, or just cold? Actually, we have that You're good. What you talking Oh, there it is.
Hey, guess what? Throw in.
Good. Yeah, we're doing real well. They had their interviews today. Everything went fine. Yeah, the one that was shot, he's like smooth. He's doing very well. He never slinks. She's doing good. Yeah. Dealing with it. Yeah. Just see what happens through the process.
See you, Alex. Get your net.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we will.
I'll see you Thursday.
We've been waiting. We haven't even been able to talk to She's small. Yeah, my opinion is she's really nice. We had, we put her with the other officer, Melissa Pan, she was pretty assertive, trying to point that up, you know what I mean? But, listen, she's a nice person. She's a nice person, but this isn't her. No, it would be best or hope that she. Lenny's very good. Very good. He's doing very good. In fact, he was just involved. You'll see the news release tomorrow. He backed up the guys. They had a home invasion in Pine Hill the other day, and Lenny backed them up. We've seen the video, and they caught the guys. Yeah, he did. Lenny does really good. I like Lenny. He's always been my boy. Even when he was a special.
The youngster wrote to someone you know, Justin LaValle.
Oh yeah? Okay. You know that. Justin's good. Justin, he's going to, he's doing the police guy. Yeah. I love Justin. Absolutely. Side of the group. Yeah, they're always. Yeah.
Let's call the meeting back to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison? Present. Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler? Here. Mr. Strato? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Beanke?
Present. We have the first public portion. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda items only, please raise your hand and come to the microphone. Yes, sir.
Darren Gladden, 44 Greensway. A couple questions about, I think it's the purchase of the vehicle, 036, on the back page. 13.
Right.
Is there a reason why we're buying a tactical vehicle?
That was a recommendation from the police chief. The police was at our workshop explaining some of the scenarios in which the police department would utilize that vehicle. They had a couple uses or needs, and they had to wait for the county's vehicle to be available. And I'm sure the deputy chief may have more to add to that.
Sure, Mr. President. It's the vehicle that the county has. We used to be able to go pick it up and use it, and they've changed that. We're not allowed to do that. We have to wait for a sheriff's officer to respond with it. Being on our special response team, I was the commander of the team for several years and was on these type of operations for several years. I could tell you that when you're hiding behind either a police car or a vehicle or a tree, and you hear shots being fired and you don't know where they're coming from, it's a scary situation, and the only thing that it's hard to find things that'll stop the types of ammunition that we often run into. This vehicle is a life-saving tool. In 2009, we had someone who shot up the Fox Meadow Drive area, being one of the first responding people out there, hearing the shots being fired, having to wait an hour for a similar vehicle to come from Gloucester County. It was the only one in the area at the time. We were really concerned about residents being stuck in, and we used that vehicle to literally back up to someone's house, and we're unloading elderly people, children, and into this vehicle. It's the only thing that would stop bullets. We know will stop bullets in a safe environment to get it. The number of gun incidents has remained steady. It's very few and far between, but when these types of incidents happen, that's the type of piece of equipment that will save someone's life, save officers' lives, save citizens' lives. For the cost of what, in effect, is 2 dump trucks, or even the cost of an average, less than an average fire truck, I think it's a piece of equipment that we'll be able to get on the scene. Hopefully you'll never need it. Hopefully, I would love to say that we will never ever need it, and that's a good thing in Gloucester Township. But the time comes when we get some madman who wants to open fire on people or officers. It's the only type of equipment that's going to be able to get us into position quickly. And minutes make a difference. First 20 minutes of an incident is the time when it's the most dangerous. So it's a life-saving piece of equipment.
So it's a life-saving piece, like you said, minutes. And we talk about minutes, and
Sure.
we can get back to that. Personnel, that's the minutes. You know what I mean? Personnel. Consider it depends on what situation it is. You tell me if you need the vehicle, I don't see how you need it. I don't see how much gunfire or gunplay. I don't know what's going on in this town too much down the lower end. I would like to see the money better utilized as a substation down there, the Sicklerville Road area, where you're far from here. You got a police station here. Why can't you have a substation down there? Money could better be used for that convenience instead of a all personnel carrier. You know what I mean? It's an APC. But why is police needing APCs nowadays in our towns?
Well,
I mean,
I appreciate your opinion, Darren. I
it's-
think the police are the experts, and I think they've always been an organization and a group that prides itself on doing the right things, and they're first and foremost in utilization of funds. I think, again, I appreciate your opinion, but I think they're the experts, and I would tend to.
But do you see like a tendency with our police department? Like we got a DARE vehicle that, you know what I mean? We can actually DJ with that DARE vehicle. We just bought like $700,000 of SUVs, and now we're, listen, I believe in the police. My family's involved in law enforcement. I have a ton of friends that are cops. I just think this right now, purchases unnecessary. You know what I mean? I don't do their job. I'm sorry. But like as a citizen, as a paying citizen, seeing my taxes so high and seeing all this, I'm not just fearing. Like everybody's fearing something. It's more of we got to get out there and get more involved in people and understanding like your neighborhoods and start off your streets and stuff like that. But we're going out there and purchasing equipment that like our military. We have a National Guard in Lakeland, don't we? Don't they have equipment like this in there?
I don't know.
Absolutely not. There is no armored equipment. There's some dump trucks. There's no armored vehicles. There's not even an armed contingent. And take nothing from the National Guard. They are not trained to do police work. They are not prepared to do what we have to do. And I can't even tell you how long it would take to get a National Guardsman there to even open the door.
I thought they were there 24/7. So
Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
And the DARE vehicle that you speak of, and
I'm just giving you my opinion, sir.
But I want to explain something so people are aware. They see things and they're really not sure. Those pieces of equipment, I believe, were paid for out of drug confiscation money. And again, the police have always looked for other avenues of revenue to pay for some of these items.
And
The DARE vehicle was actually paid for out of our Municipal Alliance grant funds that we've acquired a grant in conjunction with many of our DARE programs and our prevention programs. And I'll just say I'm a believer in the school programs and some of the changes that we've talked about with programs. And the chief's not here tonight because he's talking about further programs. Our juvenile crime numbers have dropped. Our overall violent crime numbers have dropped within the last 2 years after escalating, going up for 5 years. And the juvenile crime, which I think is the most telling, is dropping because of the DARE program, our newly instituted battle program, and our intervention programs of our juvenile unit. And I just want to be clear, we have put a great emphasis into the reduction of these problems. However, that doesn't stop people going out, having a crisis situation or committing a crime and feeling the need to fire on police or fire in a neighborhood. And you have to be prepared for those. It's my responsibility, it's the chief's responsibility to be as prepared, and the government, the council, and the mayor to be prepared, to be as prepared as we can to protect our citizens. So that's where we're constantly looking at. I live here, and I am very confident that my family is protected by the police officers, and that the council and the mayor are looking out for us as far as getting that kind of equipment.
Okay, so now I'm just coming to just bring something to you real quick. Like, in my opinion, a substation down the lower end of town that's what I would be like, 250,000. That's, if I found it in 2007, we found this money for it. It was hiding around since 2007, Tom? It was bond money from 2007? Oh. Okay.
I'll just address the substation if you'd like me to, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Right now, our officers are, because the cost of our vehicles are so much, quite often because of the amount of equipment to self-sustain them operating. They can do reports. We've invested in the top-of-the-line computer and tracking and data systems so they can be on patrol in their vehicle. You see them often in parking lots, whatnot, ready to respond, but they may be doing paperwork or doing something. So the need for having a substation is not a great priority because we're confident that the way our schedules are arranged, the cooperation we get from our fire departments in the south end of town, that we have a place to go, take a break, use the men's room, use the ladies' room, and operate, use the phone if we need to. So as far as the needs go, it was determined by the chief that that's a greater need.
I know. I mean, I'm looking just because I've been following for the past 2 years, and I've seen that we have the identification light plate system that we spend money on, right?
I'm sorry, what?
But the ID, the license plate ID system.
The license plate reader, yes.
Yes. We have the red light cams to catch people from making red light turns. It's very bad. And we're making a lot of money off of that. We don't know where that money's going. Nobody tells us about that. And we're also, we bought a bunch of vehicles last year. So now we're also another $250,000 into our police. I'm just thinking, I'm like, we're spending a lot of money in the police area.
Our vehicles too, I have to tell you, it's a common misconception. Our vehicles operate not like they're a family vehicle. They operate 24 hours a day. The average mileage that's put on a police vehicle in a year is 40,000 miles, plus the engine runtime is a calculation. The life of a vehicle is, when we really stretch and get maybe 5 years out of a vehicle, and the equipment has to go, so there's constantly, and these officers have to operate sometimes these vehicles at a high speed, and when we discuss that with council and the mayor, it's important to them and it's as important to us that they have the safest, newest vehicle to keep them safe, to be able to respond to everyone's house. So that there is a cost. The cost of vehicles is what we don't have control of the cost.
But what I'm saying to you, I'm just trying to go real quick to this. We're going to buy this APC, and you said timing is the distance. Now, where's that going to be parked? Because if it's parked here and you go down to the lower end of the county where the Wawa is, Circleville Road, that area, how long is it going to take that vehicle to get from here to there? If somebody runs out of this building right now,
I can tell you it's certainly going to be faster than it takes the time for a sheriff's officer to receive a phone call through us to communications at county, to getting that officer to wake up in the middle of the night, to getting in his vehicle, driving to where it is, then getting to where the incident is. I can certainly say that it'll be faster, much faster than that. In the middle of the night, it could be, we could be on the other end of town probably within 10 minutes if we respond at emergency speed if we need to.
All right, I got all my questions addressed. I just wanted to let you guys think about, the purchase too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Joanne.
Joanne Carr, Timber Birch. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I want to respectfully disagree with Darren in the fact that I appreciate our police department and everything they do. And I can see your point. You want to buy that. It's kind of like buying that snowblower that sits there for 3 years. and you love every $500 you spend on it because you're not shoveling. But it's a safety issue, and just as Darren had said, why can't we use the money that we get from the red light camera, which is a safety issue, and just purchase it outright rather than it going into the capital budget?
You're not permitted to do that. You're not permitted to do that. That goes into a realized revenue document. When the audit is completed, it goes against an anticipated revenue line item in the budget. Any excess funds lapse over the fund balance. You cannot use those fees, those fines coming in to appropriate and pay for anything, whether it's salary and wages or operating expense or capital expense. You cannot.
Is the money accrued through drug enforcement not treated the same?
It is not. It's in a special trust fund, and it requires the approval, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, it requires the approval of the county prosecutor in order to appropriate any of those monies. And I believe there's restrictions. You cannot use those monies for salaries and wages, and the acquisitions are limited. In my understanding, I think that some of the money is being approved for this deal.
That is correct, Mr. Carter. There is a certain amount that's not included in the bonded amount, but part of the purchase is being paid for out of our confiscated drug fund.
But again, that's limited, and it has to be requested.
Okay. You did bring up something else that on ordinance second reading 13-03.
There will be an open public portion of that if you want to hold your question.
Okay. Well, maybe if you can just, I've been coming here 7 years and I'm still a novice here. It's a learning process.
That's first reading. Tonight is first reading.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne.
So if it's first reading, there will be no discussion.
No, go ahead, yeah, but you can ask the question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought it was, I thought you said 33.
You had said that if something is collected for one thing, it cannot be used for another. This whole item is for funded appropriations to be canceled or unfunded appropriations to be canceled, and then you're going to apply it somewhere else. How is this different from what we just discussed?
Because it was monies that were approved for capital expenditures. So therefore, you can reappropriate that under the state statutes. You can reappropriate that by doing exactly what we're doing here, which is moving the money from one ordinance to another ordinance for a different use. And that is perfectly permissible.
Okay, now this money was appropriated on the budget, right?
On the capital budget.
The capital budget. Our taxes were determined because of the capital budget.
No, your taxes, part of your taxes, I would agree, would be your debt service, which would be principal and interest. But your taxes are the calculation of the expenditures less the revenues, and the plug figure would be the amount to be raised by taxation. It is not directly correlating to any particular capital project or capital program. It has to do with the overall debt service. So in other words, each year we know how much principal and interest we're going to pay on our bonds and our notes and our green acres that we borrow. And that basically figures out how we're going to calculate the amount to be raised, because that's part of the operating budget.
That's the key, Joanne. It's the operating budget that taxation goes towards. So in that operating budget, as Tom stated, is the payment for the bonds.
Okay. Well, why is it that some of these are being canceled? Why did we not follow through with these?
A lot of them could have been, and probably most of them were, where the estimate was X amount of dollars, and when we bid it out, it came under what the estimated value was. So it left a surplus there, and you tend to try to, for those, some of them sit there and then you wait until you accumulate, and if there's appropriate use for it, you then use it for whatever capital expenditure you may need down the line.
Okay. The things that you want to use it on,
We also build in contingencies for large capital projects such as roads, drainage. You want to make sure you have enough funds to cover that project when it goes out for bid. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to award the project. And I'll put it this way. If you look at the 2010 cancellation, which is the largest cancellation at $189,000, if that's factored on a $5 million capital program, that's a 3%, a little bit over a 3% difference. So that's not abnormal. A lot of the projects that go out that are larger have like a 10 or 12% contingency in those appropriations.
okay, so this is a regular thing that gets done yearly?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Has been going on since the creation of the township when they started borrowing money.
How does this affect, since I guess a lot of these things are done on bonds, how does it affect bond payments? I mean, if it's, well, I know a lot of the bond issues go out, and we're paying to have the legal services and the things written up for the bonds. Does this get to reduce any of that expense?
Not directly, it does not. The only thing you could do is cancel it, anticipate it as a revenue line item in the budget, in which case that would then offset the amount to be raised by taxation.
Do you list it as an anticipated, some anticipated revenue?
No, I do not. Not in this case, it's being reappropriated.
Okay. Okay. The four things that you're using it to get purchase of police vehicles.
Yes.
Now, so we're talking about monies that you want us to spend. We've already said yes, so now we're just rolling it over to the next year, and now you've got the go-ahead to purchase these vehicles.
We're reappropriating it by ordinance, so it has to have an introduction, a public hearing, second reading. and then
So
it
it's
goes-
not actually monies that we're doing, it's
It is real money. Money.
It's money that's
Right.
there that hasn't been spent on a previous capital budget.
but is it money that's been collected already?
Yeah.
In some cases, yes. In some cases, the funded portion has, the unfunded portion has none.
Okay.
You know, that means that it could have been issued in the form of a note, but it has not yet been permanently financed.
Okay.
So I would say, in both cases, we have the money, but on a note, it's a little different because a note is a one-year borrowing. Permanent financing would be a permanent financing of 15, 17 years. That's a general obligation bond.
Okay, this is a first reading. It will come up again in 2 weeks that we can discuss again.
On the 28th.
It'll take me that long to process it. Thank you.
Well, if you need any other additional questions, by all means, contact Tom.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ready?
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidoro, Ariel. Happy New Year to you all. Following up on Mr. Gladden's question. Deputy Chief, you know that I am a huge supporter of the police department. The Deputy Chief understands I am a huge supporter of the police department and our local police department. I absolutely believe that they should be giving all the tools that they need to keep them safe and to keep us safe. However, questions arise in the county's responsibility and what the county has done so far and why it takes the county so long to respond to Gloucester Township's needs. My first question is, if the county is in possession of one of these vehicles, what entity within the county does that vehicle belong to?
Deputy Chief?
It's actually owned by Camden County Department of Public Safety. It is run by the Camden County Sheriff's Department. It's a collaborative effort.
And where is the Sheriff's Department headquarters at in the county?
The vehicle is currently, I believe that it's either over in the Lindenwall complex or it's at Lakeland. I believe it may be at the Lakeland Maintenance Garage at this time.
Okay, so my question would be that if we already have an armored assault vehicle in Gloucester Township in the Lakeland facility, why is it taking the county so long to help our police department out when they need it?
I don't have an answer for that, Chief.
Yeah, I'm not downing the sheriff's department in any way, shape, or form. I only know that the sheriff's department often is not on call 24/7. We have at minimal 15 police officers working around the clock, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Many of our tactical officers are working on every shift, and it's just faster. And it's going to be faster, and minutes make all the difference. Just like a fire truck minutes save lives, this type of equipment may save lives. I can't answer for the time responses and whatnot of the sheriff's department. I can't say for sure. I don't have the data in front of me.
Understood. And again, with my support behind the police department having this vehicle, maybe we could look into, because we do patrol the Lakeland area, it is within our boundaries, there is a vehicle there. Maybe we could find a way that we could man police or police personnel and be able to utilize, in a shared agreement with the county, to utilize the vehicle that's already within our boundaries, within our reach, and within the capabilities of our own police officers, because the vehicle is a great tool, but I believe it's police officers that save lives in our town. The vehicle will help those police officers, and going out to get one at $250,000 when we have one within our boundaries, within our reach, and well within the time of doing so. It just seems that it's something we could look into. We share many things with the county. We do a lot of things for the county. We do a tremendous amount of things at Lakeland. We provide fire service, police service. Maybe it's time the county gives a little bit back. We could look into that and see if we can save $250,000 and protect our police personnel at the same time. That's my opinion. Does the council have anything that they might think about that?
Thank you, Ray. We'll take that under advisement.
Thank you. The second thing, I was listening to Mr. Cardis explain to Joanne, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm also not the dumbest. In money that's allocated for certain capital projects and it carries forward, I can understand that we're able to do more capital items. But when we've assigned money or allocated money for certain things, rather than carrying it forward, it's almost as if, and I'm going to put this in plain language, if I come to the township and I buy something for $8 and I hand you a 20, why is it that you won't give us our change back and you find something to spend the remainder of that money on? Why not, when we have money sitting, let's maybe offset the tax and not always spend it and always find things to spend it on? And maybe give.
We don't always spend it. Many times we cancel it and put it into fund balance, just as I described before. Many times we've done that. This is one of the occasions where we're reappropriating the money. We've also done that. There are cases in the past where we have canceled money, whatever was left over, went into the following year's budget as an anticipated line item, and I can sit with you and show you over the last 10 years where we've done that. So this is not always the case.
But
you just disagree right now because you're saying it should not be reappropriated. I understand that. And you're right, it could be applied to next year's budget. That's an option.
Instead of constantly thinking ahead of what next to put it forward to in your hands, why not the thought of putting it back into the hands of people? Even $100,000 divided by the amount of people in the township is a little something. We never think of giving any money. Constantly handing you.
I just told you we did it. You're telling me we never think of it.
I can't remember.
I can show you where we canceled appropriations, similar to what we're doing here. We're moving money to another project, but I can show you where we canceled appropriations in previous capital budgets and applied that money to the budget, just what you're saying.
Can you show me where the people's taxes have been reduced when we've had more than we needed?
Ray,
I'm putting it very.
We follow state procedure as promulgated by the Division of Local Government Services and by the state of New Jersey. So there is a method to canceling monies that have been borrowed in prior capital budgets. And I'm describing to you what that method is.
Tom, I respect you. I've sat down with you. I'm keeping it simple when I know your job is extremely complicated.
It's simplicity if you're suggesting that we divide divide it up and send the reimbursement to each taxpayer. That's not the way the state of New Jersey mandates we do it.
Take, for instance, the red light camera fees that have come in or fines that have come in.
Which is mutually exclusive from what we've been talking about, but go ahead.
Okay. Now, is there something that money is collected for and held on that prohibits it being able to be given back to the taxpayers? Is there something specifically that prohibits us from doing that?
It is given back to the taxpayers. It's handled the way any revenue or any monies would be handled when they're part of the general fund. You anticipate an amount of money. Let's say in last year's budget, we anticipated $1.5 million in red light camera money. And in fact, $2.3 million came in. So the 1.5 offsets what we anticipated. And the $800,000 in additional collections goes into fund balance, which therefore is available for use in the subsequent budget to lower taxes. There's a method, there's a formula.
The ideology, I think we share in difference. When I say back to the people, your definition is allocate or moving it to the next year. Mine is giving it actually physically back to the people. That's what I meant when I say back to the people.
Right, it is going back to the people. You may not think of it in those terms, but if that's $800,000 that did not have to be raised by taxation. So, you know, all the extra expenses we have each year that go up, that is covering those expenses, if you will.
And the shortfalls in other revenues.
Right.
Because while you may see more revenue there, a surplus, so to speak, there very well may be a shortfall in another line item.
We'll agree to disagree. Last part of the question, and I'll finish up with this. Do we know what the expected lifetime of this armored assault vehicle is?
Deputy Chief?
I anticipate it long past my career, up to 20 years.
Okay.
15 to 20 years easily, barring any mechanical. The armor of it will be able to be here and be refurbished for probably the next 2 or 3 years. So.
Okay, thank you. And again, with the police vehicles, that the SUVs and crossovers that we have, we're getting a 5-year life. Are we still planning 20 years on these vehicles?
No, he said 5-year life as a patrol.
The patrol vehicles.
It's then filtered to other areas such as protective. It's used in administration. It's used in construction office. We typically get anywhere from 8 to 10 years, and I would say it's probably on the high side, probably closer to 9 or 10 years.
Okay,
These vehicles, you keep saying, are four-wheel drive, which is correct, but they are pursuit-rated vehicles, and that's important.
And I understand the importance of the vehicle. I'm just looking at the dollars and cents, the lifespan of the vehicle and the amount of time paying on it, which, you know, we may pay 5 years on our car and not even have it that long, but municipal money is as such.
We're getting more than 5 years. We're getting closer to 10.
Thank you very much. And again, Happy New Year.
Yes, sir.
Jim Williams, 3 Tiffany. Mr. President, I just had a brief question. On this armored vehicle, will we be loaning that out to anyone, or if anyone nearby, let's say Lindenwold, Clementon, blah, 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 gives us or calls us up, is this specifically for Gloucester Township?
Well, definitely specifically for Gloucester Township now. I'll let the chief, Deputy Chief explain, but I believe there are times where we would be out when they ask for our SWAT team to go.
All of Camden County, we're enjoying with a mutual aid agreement throughout Camden County, actually throughout New Jersey in case of a mass catastrophe. But we constantly are lending assistance to whoever needs it. And if an officer was pinned down or people were certainly in danger in Lindenwold or Clementon or whatnot, we would certainly immediately respond to rescue those people or protect them.
Do adjoining, let's say again, Lindenwold, Clementon, do they have something like this, or they don't have anything? Are we?
No, they don't. They have access to the county sheriff's agency.
We couldn't charge them a fee for use of it?
Yeah. Well, we don't, in our mutual aid agreement, we don't because we get reciprocation from other towns. For instance, the shooting we had of the officers a couple of weeks ago, we had assistance from probably 5 to 6 agencies that assisted us in that initial hour or so until we could stabilize our scene, actually lending patrol assistance until our next officers got in and we were able to change. So as part of our mutual aid agreement that we have amongst towns for emergency services, no, there's no fees involved. This includes canine services that we may provide at some time that we receive. And there's all types of services that the officers try to, agencies through the Chiefs of Police Association try to assist each other.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is David Brown from Sicklerville. I've been listening to a lot of people talk about the armored car. You yourself have said that crime is going down and all that.
Just the council, please.
But Deputy Chief was saying that the crime is going down, but we're going to put this money towards this anyway. Honestly, I'm not going to say no, we shouldn't do it. Because, I mean, my father's a retired sheriff's deputy. My brother's been with sheriff's deputy for 15 years in Tennessee. I think it's a good thing, but it does sound like the working in between Camden County and the surrounding communities is not there. I've never heard of a sheriff's deputy or community not. I mean, the sheriff's deputy's office is closed. I thought all police departments are covered 24/7.
Are you comparing what you may have experienced from Tennessee?
Yes.
In New Jersey, as a general function, and I have friends from out of state where sheriff's departments actually patrol, do the
whole county,
the police duties. They actually respond to 911 calls. Throughout New Jersey, our sheriff's primary responsibility is to be court officers for the courts. They don't, in no jurisdiction in New Jersey that I'm aware of, does the sheriff's department respond as a primary police agency. So while there may be sheriff's officers working through the night, they provide transport services for our prisoners. They may have a canine officer working and supplying throughout the county. They don't have a patrol function, so to speak. That is left to the municipalities, and that's throughout the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
Versus out of state, where friends of mine are, they
We
are
have
the
city
front line.
and county, and they all both work
Absolutely,
together all the
they
time.
respond as the police. So.
Okay. All right. The funding for this, you said that we've had it for almost 6 years, and is this already all pretty much paid for through allocated money already?
Paid for, I'm sorry. What's paid?
The vehicle.
No, that's the function of this ordinance. This ordinance cancels monies from the 2007 capital program to 2008 capital program, 2009, and 2010 capital program.
Right, but that money, will that pretty much pay off this vehicle that we're looking at getting?
Yes, within that money that's being canceled, we have enough money to fund that vehicle plus the improvements to the Lemishuk property, improvements to the wash bay, and also improvements to the Valley Brook driveway.
Okay, well, I mean, to me, if we've already got the money, we need to use it for what's going to be best for our community. And it's up to y'all to decide if this is what's best for the community and all that. The street sweeper ordinance, where we're going to lend it out to Stratford.
It's a interlocal agreement with Stratford, Borough of Stratford, for us on Fridays to provide them with street sweeping capabilities. They will pay us $2,500 a day, in which our
employee and the street sweeper will be utilized on their streets just for that one day. How often are our streets in Gloucester Township swept?
We have 3 street sweepers, 2. I know they're on a rotation basis, Mr. Maffa, and
they're anywhere from once or twice a year our streets are done.
You're talking about 24 square miles.
24 square miles.
So the goal is to hit each street
once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay, is one of these times after leaf collection? Because, I mean, that's usually the worst time, because especially if it takes a while for leaf collection to come with the water drainage. I mean, is that one of the times where it's actually done, is after we know leaf collection is going to be done?
Our sweepers are out now, and they are doing it only because the weather has been nice.
Right.
Normally, the weather isn't this cooperative, and the street sweepers are not out. But because the temperatures are up, we have had the street sweepers out trying to clean up some of the leaf. But we also put them out early spring as soon as the weather does break.
Yeah. So I mean because I know what I've seen around here, around the leaf collection time is when the streets are usually the worst, and that's why I was wondering on the timing on that. Well, that's all I've got to say right now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Joe Pauly, Sicklerville, New Jersey. I had a question regarding with the street sweeper. Now our public works department has certain people that just do that. Is that how it works?
They have, I imagine it's an operator that handles the street sweeper. So it's someone that is trained in handling that machine.
Okay, because my question is, I noticed that there's a lot of areas that have like a lot of trash in it and all. Wouldn't it be better to utilize those people to maybe do something else aside from street sweeping to clean up the town a little bit? There's a lot of trash I've noticed, and there's a lot of things that could be done. For example, from my understanding, behind my house is a berm, and there's trees growing out of it and everything, and the town is supposed to be responsible for cleaning that up, and I've never seen anybody back there.
I'm not sure where your house is, sir, but one of the things that we do have is a crew that is a clean community group that the Public Works utilizes to pick up trash in all different areas, the parks, the streets, everywhere. When they get a call, that's usually who they send out. They also have, like Mr. Moffett stated, they go out and they do the sweeper. They pick up the leaves. So they do address any area that comes in that is the trash. But I like to emphasize that everybody has a responsibility to try to keep the area clean. A lot of it is trash that gets knocked down or gets taken out of trash cans that get blown down the street, and people don't, pick it up. And I think if we all work together, we can address some of those. Simply just picking up trash that may be blown down the street from your neighbor. I think that could be helpful to all of us.
My other concern with the street sweeper is the repairs are very expensive on it. What were to happen if we sent our equipment over there and something broke?
Well, when they came up with the price, they added an additional administrative dollars that would be utilized for the maintenance of that vehicle. It's, I believe, 1 year an agreement. Tom, am I right?
1 year agreement. It's only providing for 2 trucks,
right,
for 2 Fridays, at 10 hours per truck.
Right. So it's a 1 year agreement. So as we go along, the business administrator, along with the public works director, will be monitoring it to see, one, is it doing what we expected to do, along with Stratford. It was a situation in which we going into an interlocal agreement to help a local town. So it will be monitored, and we'll know if it's a success or if it's something we have to reconsider.
It's a shared service.
Right, it's a shared service.
Okay, my other question is regarding the armored police vehicle. I have a couple questions. You're worried about shootings, like the mass shootings, I guess. When was the last time we had one of those in Gloucester Township?
Well, I think the citizens up in Connecticut could have said the same thing prior to that incident happening. When was the last time that small town had a shooting like that? No one knows that. We haven't had one, to my recollection. Am I right, Deputy Chief?
In 2009, we had, which is, just a little over this month, 4 years ago, we had a guy come out and fire 47 rounds at people's houses, at people riding by on their bike. And on a Sunday afternoon, I remember it was an Eagles game. The last time you would think kids were out, weather just like this, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You can never predict this. Lake Poughkeepsie, New York, you had 2 firemen get killed. I know someone from there that I went to the FBI Academy with. They've never had a shooting incident up there, and they had 2 of their volunteer firefighters killed responding to a house fire. It's hard to predict these types of incidents, but I have in my career, and I've experienced shots getting fired around me, so they're not mass shootings. However, you just never know when that's going to happen. So providing officers with the best equipment possible to protect our citizens and protect the officers, it's important for us to stay ahead of the game there.
Because my biggest, and this is merely my opinion, is that instead of going out and spending $250,000 on a piece of equipment, we could be using that to train our officers in different ways so that they know how to respond. Well, I'm not saying you don't know how to respond, but I'm saying to respond to a situation better. Maybe the way things are set up with how the officers patrol and everything. I just think the money could be spent better in training.
I appreciate your opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. Tom Crone, right here in beautiful Gloucester Township. Joe Pauly asked a question about the tank, for lack of a better way of putting it.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Pauly, who was ahead of me, had asked a question about the APC, the police vehicle. That's the topic of conversation. I'm a pragmatist when it comes to public safety. I firmly believe that, and it showed in that unfortunate incident a couple weeks ago, that good guys with guns stop bad guys with guns. And it's true. So I'm in favor of our police having the best and most effective equipment to battle the bad guy. My concern comes down to dollars and cents, and you never really want to put a dollar figure on public safety. And that becomes a very slippery slope to go on. It's also a slippery slope to use a tragedy that happened in Newtown as our reasoning for doing something. I'm uncomfortable with the President of Council stating tonight that that's one of the reasons why we're looking at doing this. And that may not be your true intent,
Yes, sir.
but you said that because of...
He said, when was the last time? And I stated, you could ask the people up in Newtown, Connecticut, when was the last time prior? And I didn't say that was the reason why we're purchasing this, not at all.
I understand you didn't say it's the reason, but that is a reason. You're using that as reasoning. That there was a mass shooting in a small town, that I find that to be a slippery slope as well. A lot of things can happen. And we saw how tragedy can happen with our local police, and that was handled beautifully. The bad guy's dead. We don't have to have these guys go through a trial. Their families don't have to relive it again. The bad guy's gone. And I'm all about, I have kids in school. I want to make sure our schools are safe. It's a big deal. I'm just concerned in this debate that comes around that we use tragedy in order to say, hey, we need this. Do we need this? I don't think we need it. It's a nice to have. And it's going to be good if someday, God forbid, we do need it. But I'd like to point out that if we had that vehicle, the incident in the interview room still would have happened.
Absolutely.
Okay? If Newtown, Connecticut had 10 of those vehicles, those 20 kids would still be dead. It's a response vehicle. So again, when it comes to the discussion about what happened in Newtown, this is a response vehicle. Wouldn't have stopped Newtown, and it's not going to stop a bad guy in this town. that's what I want to talk about with that. The other thing is, we're entering into a shared service agreement with Stratford for our street sweepers. Excellent, great idea. Saves the people of Stratford a couple of dollars. We get to be good citizens, good community, and we make money by sharing our services. Excellent. That in mind, Deputy Chief said that our sheriff department is not a patrolling department. They're involved with the courts and things like that. They have an armored APC vehicle. Was it even considered to enter into a shared service agreement with the county, seeing that this vehicle is parked up the road in Lakeland, or possibly in Lindenwold? Either way, it's equidistant. Now, we're entering into a towns are being asked to enter into a shared service agreement for the county metro police coming up. Now, Gloucester Township may not enter into that at some point in time. But I think it would be important if this august body and the administration had explored, or did you explore, a shared service with the county to save our town $250,000? Because this is a want, not a need. And in this day and age, where people's paychecks on the first of the year got smaller, okay, housing prices haven't bounced back, the county again raised taxes. There may be a zero tax in Gloucester Township, but that's because of bonds, and at some point in time we're going to have to pay those bonds, so taxes are going to go up because of that. So this becomes an issue of dollars and cents, want versus need. And if we can enter into a shared service agreement for street sweepers, I'm confused why we haven't explored shared service for a tank.
Well, it's not a tank, but go ahead.
Well,
That's your
It's an armored rescue vehicle.
Thank you.
It's a recovery vehicle.
It's discovered. We have a shared service agreement with the county. We've been using the county's vehicle for several years, and we've discovered deficiencies in the response. Again, because Camden County is a big county. There's a lot of incidents happening throughout the county. And again, can you put I respect your opinion, I do. And as a person, this, I can tell you, has not just occurred at the police end. I can't speak for, it hasn't been presented for council. We have been looking to find a way to get this type of vehicle for some time now. It was well prior to the Newtown, Connecticut shooting from our end. I can't speak for anyone else. We've had the agreement. We still have access. If an incident happens right now, we have access. We call the sheriff's department and they respond. The issue, and it's by no fault, I can't point a finger at any county official or anything. There's a delay, just by human nature. It takes someone time. If the vehicle is up in Pensauken and in operation now, it is not available to us. If it's down in Winslow Township being used by the Winslow Police, it's not available to us. And just by the fact that the vehicle will be here ready for us to immediately respond 24 hours, 7 days a week, to try to save someone's life and get that vehicle into position to protect someone, minutes, in my opinion, make all the difference in the world. And I respect your opinion about children and all. That's where the chief of police is tonight. That's where the mayor is tonight at an urgent meeting, an important meeting to discuss school security and to try to make improvements. This is just one piece where we will be better prepared to serve the town.
Spoken like a gentleman. I appreciate the candor and the honesty coming from the deputy chief. And I should respond to him, but I apologize for that. Moving on to just real quick, R13035. It's in the consent agenda, and that's for a special resource officer. Can we get a little bit of an explanation on what that exactly is?
School resource officer.
It says special resource officer.
It is the resource agreement We already have, the police officers are in Highland and Timber Creek. This is just to memorialize that. It actually should have been passed back in September. It has not affected the operation. What it's affecting is the reimbursement.
So this is not new. This is just going ahead to make sure that the 3 high schools.
Running covers,
Oh, okay, so that's okay. So 2 of our high schools in Black Horse Pike Regional have an armed police officer in their school.
Yep.
Okay. Has there been, and getting back to what the deputy chief said about minutes, has there been a discussion with Gloucester Township School Board about an armed officer in their schools?
Tonight.
That's what they're doing tonight.
Is that really? Excellent. Can this council give any indication on where they stand on that? I know it's not on this particular part of the.
We haven't been briefed by the mayor or by the chief, and until then, I would say let's not speculate.
Okay, that's fine. And to go back to the APC real quick, would that $250,000, should we enter into a shared service or a better shared service with the county, be possibly well spent in the schools, maybe making the doors a little more, let's say, bulletproof? Those doors they put up at Virginia Tech, which are now bulletproof after their mass shooting, you can lock things up better, bulletproof closets where you can save the children, where minutes count, and police in there. I'm going to leave you with that. I don't want an answer. But prevention is better than response, I think. So you guys have a great rest of the night. I'll be back for the second shift doing the second thing. We'll talk about some more things. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Jim Kibbles, this aerial. Sat here patiently, listening to everybody talk here. I hope in the minutes that we identify the people that have mentioned about how this money can be used, because once the event does occur, nobody here tonight can guarantee that we're not going to have a new town. Okay? I am in full support of spending $250,000 for the vehicle. Not everybody knows this, but my son-in-law's brother, who was a police officer in Philadelphia, John Pulowski, was killed. I think our police officers need all the equipment to go and do their job and protect themselves. So I am full support of spending the $250,000. Deputy Chief Harkins did an excellent job tonight. I just hope we never have to use that piece of equipment. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
David Brown from Sicklerville. And just to discuss that, we did say that the money's already allocated, or we already have the money, it's just got to be reallocated. We should use it. I'd say we need to use it. What? That's y'all's. But my concern on it at first, when I first saw it, was I also saw that we have a 3.5% budget increase on the year, and I was wondering if that was coming from that also. That was one of my concerns. Now, with that being a 3.5% increase, is that going to be raising our taxes for property taxes?
That's not saying that we're going to have a 3.5% increase. What it is, however, saying is there is an appropriation cap limit for inside cap line items. There are items in the budget that are inside cap. There are items in the budget that are outside cap. What the state terms outside cap, they look at and say these are items that are beyond your control. They may be debt service. They may be elements of health insurance that go beyond a certain percentage. But there's an area that they think you should be able to control. It's the first part of the budget, sheets 4 through 19.
Like that's the cap 2%.
Right, and they're saying that that should be capped at 2% compared to the prior year. I always encourage the council to adopt the ordinance, which allows us to go to 3.5%, because you have to bear in mind there is now a tax levy cap, which is takes precedent over any appropriation cap, because you cannot exceed that 2% levy cap. unless you're willing to go to referendum. I don't know that anybody would want to go to referendum on it. So the adoption of the ordinance allows the council to adopt a budget where the inside cap line items can exceed the 2% up to 3.5%. Now, if it's less than the 3.5%, which I would hope it would be, what the adoption of this ordinance allows us to do is bank cap towards next year and the following year's budgets. Without the ordinance, you cannot bank cap. Why would you want to bank cap? In case we had bad weather. I mean, very bad weather, where our appropriations, the expenditures go beyond what we've appropriated. We get into emergency appropriations.
Where the money last year, since we didn't have hardly any snow, we
You're correct.
carried it over to this
Absolutely.
coming year.
Who knows what could happen between now
Exactly.
and spring?
Right.
So the reason for this, and we've adopted this every single year, is to, again, allow the flexibility, because I don't really think it's reasonable to anticipate that those inside line items are going to stay at 2%. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
I mean, what they deem to be, within our control, I think in many cases is not within our control.
Okay, now when you cap it and we actually don't need it, do you have a limit on how much you're going to keep in there
You're able
with,
to go to
without allocating it somewhere
You're
else?
able to go to 3.5% on the appropriations inside cap.
Well, I'm talking about when you allocate money like for snow plowing or whatever it is up here. If you, like last year, you allocated, didn't have to use probably half of what was in there. Now, in this coming year, did you budget for that to have that as part of that money, or did you have that same amount again?
No, we don't set up a reserve for snow. I mean, some years we've gone beyond and blown out our budget.
Right.
Other years, like you said last year, we have money left over.
Right.
That money, what happens when you finish a 12-month cycle on the budget, whatever monies are left over, they run another 12 months. It's called the reserves. Once that runs, if that money's not expended, it lapses into surplus for the following year.
Okay.
That's
So that way,
what's happening with that money now. It's in reserve, it's paying other bills, and after it runs a 12-month cycle, it will go into the 2014.
okay. Now, a lot of businesses and government entities have gotten to the point where a lot of companies are. We need to cut the amount of people we have working and just have people to be able to do more than one job. With people retiring here in the like tax collecting office and stuff like that, do we have that where we're combining so that we're actually cutting manpower like everybody else in the country to save on the budget, or are we just putting somebody else in there just so we can say we need this money?
No, we have, over the past couple of years, we have cut significantly the number of positions that we have here.
Okay, well, that's great. I like to see that since corporate's having to do it too.
The example that you just gave was
Right.
an excellent example. The tax office has been short-staffed for a couple of years now, and it's starting to show.
And so now we're having that.
Our clerk's office has been short-staffed as well. They need additional people, but we haven't hired additional people.
Okay, this is just like corporate America. We're having to cut hours out every week, and we're just having to put our pants on and work. And I was just wanting to make sure that we're not just going to use this money, keep on plotting somebody into a job and keep on raising it, so later on years when the bonds come up that we do have to raise property taxes. I mean, we're in the fourth highest tax people in property tax in the country. No, second highest. We got the fourth most personal debt per person in the country right here in New Jersey. We've got to do something to start cutting these taxes. Because just like with this fourth year in a row, no budget from Congress and House, they gave themselves a pay raise, raised our taxes, anybody who's making over $40,000 a year. Like I told Andrews, well, I left a message. I've called him 17 times in the last 16 months, and I've got one message from him, so I don't really call him much of a congressman. He's not really doing anything for me. But he needs to communicate with us on what's going on. They gave themselves pay raise. They don't balance a budget. I just want to make sure we're keeping a balanced budget in this community to help us out, because we know it's not happening up there yet. It will one day. And I pray that Obama and all them can get together and balance a budget. And I just want to make sure that it's done here, because this is a great community. And we've gone 3 years without a tax increase in this community. And I'd just like to see it going on so that maybe somebody in the state can see what we're doing here. And maybe they'll come and talk to us and find out, or talk to y'all, see what y'all are doing to keep it so y'all don't have to raise our taxes. And I appreciate everything y'all do for us to help us so that you don't have to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladden?
I just got one more thing to just say to government. I was at my son's school play, and I went to one of my friends is a teacher, and I checked over their schools and stuff like that. And like I said, 250. I know you guys need protection. I'm always behind the police, believe that. And I'll be there if anything happens, anything like that happens. Hopefully no tragedies happen like that around our town. Now, I'm just saying, I've been to them schools. Everything's falling apart in there. And if I would like to see council walk the schools with me to see the stuff that I'm seeing, maybe I'm seeing my glasses are not clear enough. But the doors are all rusted out in some schools. We got the middle school that there's leaking water in a couple classrooms that when it rains, that I've been notified and told about. And these are issues that are strongly suggestion. So when we find money, we should go to the cause that need, if you were talking about securities, like doors. Not in a vehicle that's gonna sit.
That has to be taken up with the school board.
Okay, all right, well, but that's what, this is the town. This is what you hear. That's got to be taken up with the school board. And you go to the school board and they're like, look at us. They don't want to hear you. But you're the mayor. You're the council of this town. And your mayor and you are the council of this town. So you need, and we all know that you got some friends on the school board, you need to sit them down and say, listen, where are the capital improvements of the school? Why ain't maintenance being done on these schools? And what's going on in these schools? I'm serious, I walked in my kid's bathroom, it is a shithole in my school. And I pay a lot of for taxes. And I'm just giving you, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little mad, but you keep on passing the buck. Get something done, please.
Please take it up with the school board, sir.
Yeah, keep on taking it up with the school board.
Thank you, sir. We're going to close the first public portion. Thank you. You can come to the second public. Thank you. We have to move on with business. Proclamation.
Whereas radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that is second leading cause of lung cancer, causing as many as 500 lung cancer deaths annually in New Jersey. Whereas elevated radon levels are found in many homes and pose a serious health threat to families residing in these homes. And whereas any home may have high levels of radon, neighboring homes do not. And whereas radon testing is easy and inexpensive, elevated levels of radon can be effectively reduced at the cost of a typical home repair. And whereas by mitigating homes with radon concentrations at or above 4 pCi in New Jersey, 140 to 250 lives are saved annually. Now therefore, I, David Mayer, Mayor of the Township of Gloucester, on behalf of the Gloucester Township Council and residents of Gloucester Township, do hereby proclaim the week of January 12, 2013 as Radon Action Week in the Township of Gloucester, and call upon all residents who have not yet tested to test their homes for radon and to reduce radon levels if elevated levels are found and protect their homes from the serious health risks of radon.
Thank you. Bid report, please.
Cherrywood Road Improvement Program.
Motion to accept the bid report.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Minutes.
Waive the reading and accept the minutes of regular minutes December 27th, special minutes January 2nd, January workshop.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
I abstain from the December 27th, and yes on the January 2nd.
Mr. Mercado? Mr. Bean?
Yes. Next are ordinances of second reading, and there will be a public hearing on these ordinances. Ordinance O-12-31. Ordinance amending Chapter 72, the Code of the Township of Gloucester, entitled Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of the Township of Gloucester. This ordinance sets new guidelines for the excavation and opening of the streets in the Township of Gloucester. We now have a public hearing for this ordinance. Seeing no hands, we close the public hearing. Motion to adopt.
Second.
On the question, Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean-Haney?
Yes. Ordinance O-12-33, -32. Ordinance authorizing execution of tax abatement agreement between the Township of Gloucester and BBC 14 LLC for premises block 18501, lot 14. As the title states, this ordinance will allow the township to enter into a tax abatement agreement with BBC 14 LLC. Now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Seeing no hand? Oops, go ahead.
Linda Musser, Cameron Circle. On the abatement, how long is the abatement? What's the term?
Chuck, you want to answer that?
Yeah, it's a 5-year phase-in. It's the same as what we've used for the council originally adopted an ordinance back in 1998.
Okay. And are they currently receiving an abatement, and what is the, is
No,
it a business?
You
or
only
is
get the one when it's a new project, and both of these are new projects that were just finished, completed.
Okay, where will the project be?
Well, the first one is a retail area out at Shops Across Keys. It's a small building. And the second one is a warehouse that's over in Blenheim.
Okay, okay, so they're both commercial uses?
Yes, that's
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? So in other hands, we close the public portion, or public hearing, excuse me. Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean-Haney?
Yes. Ordinance O-12-33. Ordinance authorizing execution of tax abatement agreement between the Township of Gloucester and Audubon Professional Building LLC for premises block 7101, lot 2. As the title states, this is the township is executing a tax abatement agreement with Audubon Professional Building LLC. Now have a public hearing on this ordinance. Seeing no hands, we'll close the public hearing. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean-Haney?
Yes. The next ordinances are ordinance of first reading. Ordinance O-13-01, calendar year 2013 model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. As discussed previously, this ordinance will allow the township to establish a cap bank raise the cap bank from 2% to 3.5%. Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean-Haney?
Yes. Ordinance O-13-02. Ordinance fixing the compensation of officers and employees of the Township of Gloucester in County of Camden for 2013. This ordinance will fix the compensation of officers and employees for 2013. Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean-Haney?
Yes. Ordinance O-13-03. Ordinance of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, New Jersey, canceling certain funded and unfunded appropriation balances heretofore provided for various capital projects and reappropriating such funded and unfunded appropriation balances for other capital projects. As the title states, this is the township is canceling funded and unfunded appropriations and reappropriating it for other capital projects as listed in the ordinance. This is for purchase of police vehicles, improvements to limb shop property, improvements to wash bay, and improvements to Valley Brook driveway. Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
The ordinance was amended. The original one went out with the wrong added total. The new added total should be, is it
$422,456.05. Should be on the red column.
That should be in the column. I think that all council is aware of that. I'm sorry, motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mr. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Ordinance O-13-04. Ordinance of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, State of New Jersey, amending Ordinance O-03-03, land development regarding electronic message center and residential development entrance signs. This ordinance amends previous ordinance to allow electronic message centers to be used by the fire districts and also sets limits for residential development signs. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Ordinance O-13-05. Ordinance amending Chapter 81, Section 31, entitled Speed Limits of the Code of the Township of Gloucester to establish speed limits within the Lakeland Complex in the Township of Gloucester, Camden County, State of New Jersey. This ordinance will allow speed limits to be established for Woodbury-Turnersville Road in Lakeland from 25, also Woodbury-Turnersville Road for 35, and Woodbury-Turnersville Road for 45 miles per hour. Deputy Chief, anything to add to that?
No, just this is just to upgrade, there's really no speed changes. The old ordinance had landmarks that are no longer there, so we recalculated from streets and permanent landmarks.
Okay, so you tidied it up.
Tidied it up, there was Red Oak Manor, which is no longer there,
Right.
there was this descriptor, so it was a couple of things like that.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Ordinance O-13-06. Ordinance establishing bus stops along New Brooklyn Iriel Road, County Road 706, and amending Chapter 81, Section 81-28 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester entitled Bus Stops. This ordinance will allow bus stops to be added to the New Brooklyn Iriel Road. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Resolutions of consent agenda. Any council person wishing to remove any of these, please let me know now. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Before I cast my vote, I want to say, Ray Polidoro, Tom Crum, Darren Gladden, David Brown. I understand, I listened to you with respect to the tactical armored rescue vehicle, but I wholeheartedly disagree with you. With regard to you, Mr. Crum, sometimes tragedies do spark ideas that need to be acted upon. And that's the point I was going to try and make up there. So I vote yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, we do support our police, yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes, I believe even if only one life is saved as a result of this vehicle, we will worth what we paid for it, so I vote yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Regular agenda?
39, resolution appointing members to the Gloucester Township Municipal Utility.
This resolution will appoint Frank Cimarelli to the Gloucester Township Municipal Utilities Authority. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes. Now have, the mayor is not here, so there is no mayor's report. I do not have any GTE Gov access questions, so I will open up for the second public portion in which to speak on any subject. Please raise your hand, come to the microphone. Ready?
Thank you again, Council. Ray Polidoro, Ariel. Not not that council said it, but another resident came up here and made a comment that maybe I wasn't clear on, because I surely want to clarify. And I would also like to make that clear to council and to you, Sean Daniel Hutchinson. I made it very perfectly clear that I support the police department and I want them to have all the tools necessary. My question was simply an inquiry as to why we have a vehicle of that nature in our township, and if we could utilize that, whether it be a shared agreement, shared service, or otherwise, still providing the same vehicle for our police personnel for when they need it. No question. As to whether it is worth the money, of course it is worth the money. If we already have the vehicle, our police deserve whatever it is they need for just that 1 in a million opportunity to do what they do best and to preserve and to respond to whatever needs to be done. So let it be made extremely clear that it wasn't a matter of the vehicle. It was a matter of already having one and utilizing that. With having a county sheriff's department that is keeping, I don't know what hours they keep. I know that TD Bank keeps good hours. I don't know if the sheriff's department keeps even their hours. But once again, I'm going to make it clear that maybe our township could look and find out why the vehicle that is in Gloucester Township at Lakeland could not be already utilized for our police department. And that's what I want to be clear. Now, I don't take offense to what the gentleman said here, but he did indicate that he wanted the minutes of the record to indicate the names of those. And I am clarifying that. And I believe you people on council do know that I mean that the police deserve everything that they need. If we have to spend it, we spend it to protect our police so that they can respond to whatever needs to be done. But if it's already here, was my question. So let the minutes in the record indicate that in no and under no circumstances did I oppose this vehicle, nor will I, nor do I think any resident of this township would. But we would question, if we already have one here, what will it take to utilize it for our police department? And why is the county and why is the sheriff's department so slow to respond? Just questions to find out that the vehicle's already here, couldn't already be used. Because if that would be the case, even though the money's here for a vehicle, we could do even better than that. We've already got the vehicle. Let's find out how we can do it best and get it into the hands of our police department as quickly as possible. And I hope that no one misinterprets what I said this time.
Okay, if I may.
Yes, you may.
There are 36, 37 municipalities in this county. The county has a vehicle which is allocated for use in the 36, 37 municipalities in the county, right? So how can we enter into a shared services agreement where we obtain dedicated usage of this vehicle to the detriment, possibly, of one of the other municipalities?
My question was the vehicle already being here, as to whether, again, these are questions that maybe our township would like to know. The vehicle's here, and let's just say that the incident happens in the southern end of town. Would we not utilize, let's say that Gloucester Township went ahead and purchased this vehicle, and it's here at the municipal building, but the incident happens right off of Sicklerville Road and Jarvis Road, let's say. Does that mean when minutes count, the vehicle will be awaited from the township building when one is closer? Again, it's a follow-up on if the vehicle's already here in our township. Let's ask our county, how can they help us protect our police department and protect our citizens with that vehicle that's in our township? Are they closed on Friday?
Right. I think that you're misinterpreting what the deputy chief had said. He didn't indicate that we weren't receiving good service. But there's a difference. When you compare the services that we had in this town, whether it be 911, police services, there's no comparison. between what we can afford, the residents of this town, and what the county can provide with their services. There's no comparison. We need a dedicated vehicle. We have people, the deputy chief indicated, we have people here where there will be a minimum time where we can get somebody in the vehicle on site as compared to what we can rely upon the county to perform for us. I didn't hear the deputy chief denigrate the level of services that the county is providing. It's just that the residents of this town expect a whole lot more.
And I didn't hear the deputy chief say that either. But if we're doing that, what if we are providing that same service with our dedicated vehicle to another town, we may need to depend on that one that is down at Lakeland and the sheriff's department for that what if, once in a million opportunity. Again, I did hear that we're not getting as good a response as we probably could with an armored vehicle that is here in our township boundaries already. And our township should look into why. Does it mean that vehicle, should we still get a dedicated vehicle? That's something to look at too, but let's look at what that vehicle's doing and why it hasn't served us already.
Well, you've indicated that you're in favor of us obtaining this vehicle, correct?
What I indicated is, let's find out why we didn't get that response from the county and the sheriff's department and the vehicle that's already in our boundaries, and figure that into the formula before we make the final decision on purchasing the vehicle. And then we'll know all things and be well educated on all of those things before we purchase the vehicle. We know that there's a vehicle already in Gloucester Township, but it hasn't responded in the time that our police department has needed it. Figure into the formula. It's all one process. Not saying yes, go purchase it. I certainly wouldn't say no, purchase it. But let's find out why what's already here did not serve us as well. If we're going to fix the problem, let's fix the whole problem. We certainly provide plenty of help to the county down at Lakeland. It works both ways. But to get the maximum amount of protection our township could, let's find out what went wrong earlier with the vehicle that's already here.
Brad, just so you know, I mean, at our workshop, the chief did explain there were situations in which, I don't want to touch on the incidents that happened without making sure I had it correct, but he did talk about situations in which they had to wait for that vehicle for over an hour or more to be able to approach a house where they actually had to rescue people in that house. So, you know, he did have examples. He did talk about it. He did talk about, you know, his opinion on why it was needed, and that was discussed at the workshop.
Okay, and I was under the weather, and I'm not available for the workshops, but again, just figuring into the formulas as to the thought process. It's a lot of money to spend, and it's well spent money to protect one police officer, one human being, of course. But let's find out what happened and why Gloucester Township wasn't provided that expedient service, and what happened, and put it into the thought process moving forward.
It may have been expedient in terms of what they had available to them. I mean, do we expect the county sheriff's department to have somebody ready to operate that vehicle 24/7?
What would you have the vehicle for if you didn't?
Used in these situations.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because those people that cause these problems are not going to do it between 7 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon when the sheriff's department's in. Any time of day, 24/7. Yes, I do believe the sheriff's department should be manning that all hours. That's what it's there for.
For the same reason that I won't support a countywide police department.
Why
I won't support a countywide police department. It's the same reason why we need this vehicle.
Well, again, it figures into part of the formula how best to protect our people, and when I say our people, our police officers and our people. That's another vehicle at our disposal and will help us out. Let's find out why or what better it could be done. Let's look at all things. It's not saying yes or no, but part of the thinking process.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
Jim Williams, 3 Tiffany. Last spring, I asked that maybe we could have a gun amnesty program, and the chief was asked to please look into it. Then again, in the fall, I asked the same program, a gun amnesty program, where residents of Camden County, Gloucester Township, could turn in guns, no questions asked. That was 2 times, and as far as I know, it hasn't been done, and I just would like to respectfully request it one more time.
Yeah, the Camden County, I believe, did. Deputy Chief.
Forgive me, I believe it was early December. These are typically run by the State Attorney General's office. They had a gun turn-in program that was in the city of Camden for all Camden County residents. We had no input as to the location and where they would, we can ask, but they decided to put it in the city of Camden. I believe they had a record turn-in for the number of guns and whatnot. Again, the funds that come from, typically come from the state level forfeiture. I know this program that they had in Camden, I believe it was over $200,000 of turn-in money that they supplied, and that came from the state level of asset forfeiture. So Camden County's was held in Camden in early December.
Yeah, I know. I saw that in the paper. I saw that a record number of guns were turned in, and that comes from the states. My question was at the time was maybe we could get ShopRite or maybe a few businesses that win on it and have one specifically for Gloucester Township, because I got news for you: that people aren't going to drive to Camden and turn in guns. I know people in Gloucester Township that do have guns. They're respectable citizens. They've had them for years and years, and they don't know what to do with them. I'm sorry, they really don't.
Again, I can't speak for payout for it, but at any time, if anyone wanted to turn in a weapon to be destroyed, 24 hours, they can bring it any time. Again, that's not with a payout, obviously, but we'd certainly take them if if someone had a safety concern, we'd take them anytime.
Well, what do? Drive in and walk across the parking lot with a gun? Or
Well, one of 2 things. You can call the police department. We'll respond to your residence and take the weapon if you're not comfortable handling it. And we get inquiries all the time. We ask people, leave it in your trunk out in the parking lot. There's a safe way, legal way of carrying the gun, and we'll certainly come right out to the car. But also, call 228-4500. We will send an officer at any time out to recover some of the weapon.
All right, thank you. One other thing. I was wondering how many private homes are in Gloucester Township? How many of the homes are in foreclosure? And how does this affect the taxes that are being owed or collected on the homes themselves? I was just wondering that.
Chuck?
Well, we have over 19,000 residential line items. Doesn't include any of the rental club properties, but there's over 19,000. How many in foreclosure? We don't get that official amount. A lot of that goes through the county sheriff's office, I can say that, but they're the ones that handle all the foreclosures. We did not have a huge amount towards the end of the year from what I'm gathering, but we've had quite a big number over the last 3 years.
What about the taxes? What happens with the taxes being owed by the people in the private homes?
Well, the taxes are usually paid. If there's a mortgage on it, the mortgage companies are paying the taxes throughout. If there's not, they don't get paid, and then we go through a tax sale where somebody buys the lien, and eventually they could foreclose on it. But we are collecting the money either one way or the other.
And there was one other thing. I'm sorry. It was about a year ago. I think people don't know whenever we pledge allegiance to the flag, there are some people that don't know that they should remove their hats. And I saw it again today, and they were the younger gentlemen, and they had to be told to take their hats off. And it's not their fault, but I think it wouldn't hurt that if we maybe before the Pledge of Allegiance say, please rise, remove your hats, and we can say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Because it's done in some ballparks, some it's not, some it is, but as being a veteran, I think it's out of respect to our flag and to our country. And I'm going to say one more thing. Mr. President, members of council, Deputy Chief, and Mr. Martha, you have the patience of saints.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Joanne Carr, Timber Birch. Couple things Mr. Williams alluded to. Number one, my sister just served jury duty last week. They didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. They had roll call. They had their little video. No Pledge of Allegiance. Strange. The vehicle, the armored vehicle we were talking about, it's kind of a moot point now since it was in the consent agenda and everything's proceeding. But I did have a couple thoughts. We talk about shared services. Maybe we could get one of our designated drivers, somebody with a CDL who could drive the armored vehicle, to have a key to Lakeland. So when the call goes out, the call goes up to the sheriff, and our person goes over and picks it up. Just something else to think about. And what kind of a license do you need to drive that armored vehicle? And do we have people that can do that? I'm sure.
I'm sure the police department definitely has that.
Yeah, there's a whole training program for driving the vehicle. It's a heavy vehicle.
How many people would we have
How many
trained
would
for
be
that? Trained.
All 15 members of our special response are tactical officers, plus a full complement. Easily, we plan on having at least 30 officers at any given time.
Well, just a thought, when we get ours, maybe we can get somebody else who's trained in it to get the key to Lakeland and we can use two. One other question. I've been attending these meetings since 2005. And as I said, it's still a learning process. And every meeting, we waive the reading of the minutes. And people abstain because they weren't here. And otherwise, everything's okay. About a year ago, I had reason to go through some of the minutes from before. And I found 3 or 4 errors. Are any errors ever brought to the attention? Are they ever corrected? Does anybody get the opportunity to read the minutes?
Yes, the clerk sends them via our email, our township email. She puts them, gives them to us. We read them, and many times people individually will send the clerk a message, call her, whatever way, and say, you have an error here or an error there.
Right.
And so it does get back to the clerk, and she does make the necessary.
So when it comes to the meeting time, it's just a formality, it's already been corrected. Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Dan Pavlak, 900 Tearsley Road. Earlier when you were talking about the funding of the armored police vehicle, I think it was said that there was some grant money that was being used for that. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's drug confiscation money.
Confiscated drug funds.
Is that the grant money?
No, that's Chief. You want to?
It's not a grant. These are funds that we've confiscated through investigations, and it goes into a fund. As Mr. Cardis explained, it's a trust fund. It's not a grant. It's a trust fund. We need approval through the Camden County Prosecutor's Office to utilize those funds. It's very restrictive as to what we can utilize those funds for. And there's no constant on those funds. There's no constant of revenue, if you will, on those funds. It depends on how investigations and assets that we seize as a matter of investigation.
I see. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? See no other hands, we'll close the second public portion. Calling directors to cancel, please.
Mr. Malka?
Nothing to report at this time.
Mr. Lechner?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Deputy Chief Harkins?
I just want to publicly thank Mr. Cardis, the mayor, Mr. Maffa, and all the support that we got from the incident of the shooting at police headquarters, especially Mr. Maffa and Mr. Cardis, to ensure that our police station got restored as quickly as possible. Personally thank, because you know, the many officers have to pass through there and are working there now, and it was very important for us to get it back to a level of normalcy. So on behalf of the chief, we wanted to thank all the support that we got, especially so that we could, even just the visual reminders to get them erased by Public Works. They were put in some long hours and greatly appreciated by the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.
Parliament,
Nothing to report.
Cantwell,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Hutchison,
Nothing.
Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you for coming out, thank you for staying, and thank you for the perspective.
Mr. Seiler,
Yes, I'd like to make a couple of comments about the tactical vehicle. First of all, we did not request this vehicle as results of the Newtown incident. And our tactical unit, they have to respond to emergencies. And often they do not know what they are facing when they attend to these incidents. I feel that we should give them as much protection as possible. And if this vehicle can offer them the protection that they need, instead of hiding behind a vehicle or something trying to approach an incident, I think we should give them tools that they need to carry out their duties with the least amount of exposure to them. So I totally agree with purchasing this vehicle.
Mrs. Prado.
Thank you for coming out, and thank you for all the different information that you all shared tonight. I appreciate it.
Mr. Mercado.
I'd like to congratulate Blackwood Kiwanis over the 11-year-old on their championship. Also congratulate and thank Mr. Cimarelli for his years of service on the NOA. And also remind everyone that our Martin Luther King Day of Service is this Monday. We have over 110 registered volunteers already, so there are still spots available. It's on our township website if you'd like to register. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Mr. Van Keenen.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the residents for attending tonight's meeting. I too want to congratulate Blackwood Kiwanis' 11-year-old district champion team. It's nice every year we usually have some sort of representation in the Little League district championships between Erie, Glendora, and Blackwood Kiwanis. I just, I too think that, appreciate everybody's opinion on the subject of, how we spend the money and how we justify what we do. But I can tell you, we do take everything serious. We do not just haphazardly agree to the expenditures of any item. At the workshop, the chief clearly explained his concerns and why he felt that that vehicle was an important tool for his staff, his group, to be able to perform their duties here in Gloucester Township. And with that respect that we have for the chief and his staff, to me, those explanations were 100% on point, and as a result, I know my colleagues supported this transaction. No way was it ever implicated, or no way was it ever talked about that the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut was utilized as an opportunity to purchase this vehicle, but it was something that was learned, and in what ways, like everything else. In the healthcare field, we look at every event, every error made, and we do a root cause analysis to find out what could we have done differently so that we could prevent a medication error or a medication event. No different here, utilizing whatever happened up in Newtown as a possibility of learning, or taking a look at our school systems to make sure that we are all on the same page to protect the children. I know everybody in this town, residents and all, would not, and definitely would never want that incident to happen here. And it was truly a tragedy. And to have the loss of life that we had, I pray every day that our police, our firefighters, our ambulance squad people, as well as our residents, are all safe every day. When I hear that siren go off, I worry. I worry every time I hear that. because there's always a potential for one of our folks to get injured and get hurt. And when I got that call in the morning from the mayor, I literally, my heart sank. And I know I speak for my colleagues here on council. We take that serious, and I appreciate everybody's opinion on it. However, I am 100% supportive of that program. With that, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.